To make any money in educational technology, you better appeal directly to parents because schools weren't going to pay for technology. Actually, they'd been burned with a whole bunch of hardware, and technology wasn't so relevant to them at the time. That seems like it shifted a bit, so maybe you can.
Yeah, I mean, one interesting thing when talking about the space is it's I think it's actually hard to talk about the education space. Like elementary versus high school are totally different markets in many
Right.
respects, and parents versus institutions are very different markets. So it's interesting. We often sort of group this as the education space or the education industry, and we have to be careful about generalizing. And so, I mean, just one line. I mean, Mystery Science, we are helping fix science education in this country by giving elementary teachers a remote science expert to co-teach the class with them. So we effectively sell schools a curriculum that replaces the textbook. You could think of it in a sense as a digital textbook. Um, and our whole pitch to teachers and to schools is that this is better. This is better education. It's better than the textbooks. It's better than whatever the conventional curriculum is. And it's notable that our teachers and the students and even parents increasingly are starting to recognize that it's better. So it does give me pause to hear, you can't build a business by making something better. I think there are some interesting challenges to trying to how you communicate that your product is better and how the customers appreciate it. But yeah, so for just very early on, we've gotten a lot of traction selling into schools and getting appreciated for making a better educational product.
It does seem to be true to back up Avicio's point about parents in general not being willing to pay, especially sort of the mass market, to be willing to pay for education quality. The the value that they place on that in the United States, at least, is still not clear. There's a lot of money being spent outside of school and education, but it's test prep and tutoring for pretty affluent families. Isn't that true?
Yeah, it is an interesting. So we are preparing for our transition from selling to schools, selling direct to parents, and so we've sort of dipped our toe in the water with homeschoolers, which is a relatively small market, and are getting ready to go mainstream. And so there's still a lot yet for us to prove about that. But there's a couple interesting observations that we've made so far. I think the thing that makes the market a funny market, that the parent education market, is that you get this product for free. So, basically through property taxes, that's how you pay for school. But, as an entrepreneur trying to build a business in this space, it's interesting to compete with free out there because parents feel like, well, I have this thing. And so, one thing we've noticed in interviewing parents is that at the very young age, parents feel very involved in learning. So, from birth to when they send their kid off to kindergarten or preschool, the educational value of the products they're buying is one of the dominant factors in considering whether you're going to buy that speak and sound or that playmat or that book or whatnot. It's a huge factor in buying decisions. Once you send your kid off to school full time, parents remain involved in some respects. I think reading is one of the main ones. They still feel like it's their job to make sure they're reading regularly to their child and helping to reinforce their ability to read at home. And then it sort of drops off for the next like 6 to 8 years. Your involvement as a parent in education is making sure you're supporting the school and going to parent teacher conference and picking the right neighborhood, or you get involved in that respect, not by buying products and sort of delivering education at home.